Hello YouTube, this is Johnny D on the screen, and today I am bringing you an Aftermath segment because, after this it's just a big explosion of stuff that I felt like it deserves my Aftermath thoughts. And also just gonna be tips and tricks in the game, and some venting from me, and some other things about the game. So that's why it's been Aftermath rather than just a segment about the one, the only thing came out a week ago, Pokemon Go. If you have not played it or downloaded it, I would really highly suggest you do. It's a fun game, and it's about Pokemon, so obviously I was definitely ready for it. I was psyched about it, but a lot of people obviously wanted to play it because it's the number one in Android and in iTunes. So that thus meaning that a bunch of people are actually liking this game. And the fact that a lot of people liking this game is great. It's a great publicity, not publicity, but it's a great publicity, I guess is the word I'm looking for, but it's not. It's a great thing to get everyone to buy the next game coming out, which is Sun and Moon. Comes out November 18th. If you are interested, people. So that really helps the whole them selling 3DSs and all that stuff. Nintendo's stocks rose hellaciously. Like to the game increased like $7.5 billion to their stock name or something like that, and it was either that or a split. The 7.5 was split between Niantic and Pokemon, or Nintendo. But granted, that's just how good how big this game was. It just kind of poof popped up. So that thus leads to some of the issues with the game. So some of the issues with the game, a lot of people have been finding, is it crashes a lot. Obviously, it was a free game. They didn't expect the overflow of people, which, like I said, talking to a lot of my friends, they thought that was pretty stupid. Not quite the right word, but not too intuitive, I guess, because it's a free Pokemon game. It's a Pokemon game that's free. It obviously gonna have a lot of people play it. And at first, it's only the first 150, or 151 if you count Mew. So that means a lot of people are gonna play it because you got a lot of the newers or Gen 1ers or whatever you want to call them that are very Pikachu and group only, not the new stuff. So that kind of happened. Also, you had a bunch of the millennials that turned like 20s and 18s and all that jazz that like I said, the game's been out 20 years and I'm only 23, so it means I was only 3 when the game first came out. So that means a lot of people grew up with it. So a lot of people are going to come back to it because the basis of the game is interesting enough to make you want to come back to play it, even if you haven't played Pokemon since, Game Boy Color days or Game Boy Advance. Maybe we made it that far. I made it all the way 3DS because I like Pokemon, so that's just that. That was one of the problems. Servers crashing was another problem, which is a whole overflow thing. I might have just mentioned that, but servers crashing the first couple days and on and off the last couple days. So like the first 2 days, it was just terrible. It was like a crapshoot to see if you could even get in, and then if you got in, you might not even be able to play. You might not even catch a Pokemon. It still kind of happens now, but it's getting better. So their whole server thing is getting better. A lot of people still disappointed about the whole battle system because they were probably going in expecting the red, blue, yellow battle system where you get 4 moves, you can battle other trainers and all that stuff. So that obviously is not how this game goes. So the game goes as you walk around and uses your GPS location on your phone, and then you catch Pokemon. You don't battle wild Pokemon. A lot of people are still upset about that. But if you did some research of the game, you'd understand that that wasn't in the game at all to begin with. It's just you flicking a Pokeball. It's kind of like playing paper toss, and you just flicking your Pokeball at the Pokemon, and then certain Pokemon pop up, and then certain Pokemon don't. So it's such as rare Pokemon. Yeah, there's that for gripes. Let's see. Anything else for particular gripes about the game? Sometimes Pokestops don't work. Gym battling crashes. That's pretty normal. Has crashed a lot when I've caught Pokemon, or was trying to. But I have found out that most of the time when I crash like that, I just close the application, reopen it, and if it let me back in, sometimes it wouldn't because server errors, but when it did, usually I caught that Pokemon that I was trying to catch. Like one time, I was trying to catch a Slowpoke, and it popped out of the Pokeball, but it zoomed up on its face and literally could see its nose and the top of its head, so it was like pink and white. It looked like I had a screensaver going on, but it was bouncing up and down. So I was like, crap. So I had to crash the game real quick, then reboot it up, and lo and behold, I caught the Slowpoke. So it was perfectly fine. My day wasn't ruined. That's pretty much all I can gripe about the game having problems. A couple of things I can personally gripe about is I haven't found anything good. Granted, where I live is nearly impossible to find anything, so I have to travel. So for me, traveling to places, I've seen some good people. I've seen some good Pokemon, but I haven't been able to catch them. Or I get into a battle and I try to catch them, and they have the not audacity. My luck in this game is about as good as any luck with random number generators. So like based off a throw and based off the Pokemon, all that stuff. It sucks. Really, really like just trash luck at this kind of luck based game. Weird, huh? No luck based game. Not good at. But I do alright. I've got some Pokemon some people don't have. One thing I have found out for you peoples who are playing the game, I guess I will talk about this and then eventually go into tips and tricks real quick. But if you live in a populated area, the Pokemon refresh rate is a lot faster. So rather than like out here where I live, there's like 4 Pokestops and a gym. That's it. So the Pokemon refresh rate will be alright, but it's not going to be fantastic. Like if you go out to Portland in Oregon, or like New York, I've just seen a bunch of people in New York and stuff play it. But like if you go out to there and play the game, the Pokemon refresh rate is just back and forth. So new Pokemon pop up, stronger Pokemon pop up, better Pokemon, rare Pokemon can even it's a roll. Remember, random number generator, roll, and then boom, like a Dratini would pop up. That does happen for people. Just not as lucky out here because I haven't gone into the city to get a bunch of Pokemon, which is, I guess, another gripe I can have is the fact that it's not very Pokemon-esque, that I have to go to the city to catch all the rare Pokemon. It should, I understand because, that's where your majority of people are going to be playing are in the cities, and you want people to visit there, and you're going to want those people that live in the cities to be happy to be able to catch any Pokemon they want. Or, well, Pokemon. They can. But in the world of Pokemon, it would have been the very opposite. There would have been Meows, Ratatatas, Pidgeys, Sparrows, Pidgeotos, Pidgeots, Raticates, so on and so forth, Mucks, Grammars, on and on and on. I can go on, Magmites even, all those kind of like city Pokemon would be in the city. They'd be more in the urban, so you'd be catching them there. The rarer Pokemon, or the strong, well, not always the stronger Pokemon, but the rarer Pokemon, such as like, I guess Pikachu, Slifer, Tauros, Pinsir, Dratinis, and all that stuff would be more very secluded. Not so much with like Slythers because they're bugs and Pinsers, but I mean like a Dratini, it would take you a minute to find it. Like we wouldn't just pop up. It just wouldn't pop up in the city. It could. I mean, it would be if you lived in the city. But I mean, generally, it's like I understood. I knew it was gonna happen like that, so I'm not too bummed about it. But I still wish that they did it like Pokemon E. But I mean, because then I guess that's just because I live out in the middle of nowhere, and I just wanted it to be easier for me. I guess it's just a bounce back and forth kind of thing. But that's just that thing. Another thing I want to talk about is all the negative publicity that's come with Pokemon Go. A lot of people originally really liked the game, and then all of a sudden a couple things happened and people have stopped. Like, this game is like gonna hurt our children or whatever. So if you guys don't know, some things have happened during Pokemon Go. One of the first ones I saw was team. So in the game, there's Pokestops, and on those Pokestops, you can put lures, and that's the basis of this. And that lure helps Pokemon come to that Pokestop, and then you can catch more of them. It's kind of like an increased fresh rate for that particular area for 30 minutes. You can also drop one on yourself. You get a couple of those. Da 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 da. I'm gonna rant on, but anyways, the one of the first ones I saw was 3 teens somewhere back east, I think. Used that to rob like 11 people, I think it was. Around that, like 11 people. Armed robbery, not even just robbery, armed, so they had gun or knife. Guess that could be armed robbery as well, so it wouldn't really matter. But I mean, that's just people were like, oh no, you can't now go to places with lures because they could get robbed. Well, if you would, go with multiple people, chances are that is going downhill. I know everybody's gonna be able to play with people, but you gotta play it safe. Don't gotta play stupid. And even the Niantic said that, they're not responsible because they knew the legal things that were gonna happen. They're not responsible for anything like robberies, car crashes, this and that. It's on you to play safe. That is the biggest thing. It is on you, the viewer, the player, the watcher, even if you're watching someone on YouTube play it or whatever, the viewer, to play it safe and not go out and do stupid things. That's basically what I'm trying to say here is I've seen a lot of people say, well, this is another reason you shouldn't play this game. Bam! And not necessarily directed towards me, but directed towards the world, Facebook or the world or whatever. This is why you shouldn't play this game. Bam. This is why you shouldn't play the game. Bam. Be careful because of this. Bam. That's fine. If you want someone to be careful because you saw something, that's cool. Just tell them that. But I mean, like, people are like, bam, bam, bam. This game is doing this, and this game's doing that, and this game's doing this. But to me, like the fact of getting arm robbed, that's terrible. Some girl found a dead body. That's not necessarily like bad publicity. She was just walking playing Pokemon, excuse me, and she was walking around trying to catch this Pokemon that must have popped up. Must have been something good. If it was like a fucking Caterpie, it will be annoying. But anyways, doesn't really get into too much detail, obviously. But she was walking around and she found a dead body instead of a Pokemon. That's interesting. I don't know how I'd handle that situation. But that happened. Let's see. There's also been the stabbing that happened in Forest Grove, which is the funniest thing. So anybody who's not from Forest Grove, so guy playing Pokemon Go was walking around, 22-year-old kid or adult, I guess, not kid because I'm only 1 year older than him. But anyways, 22-year-old person, man, was walking around. He went into a convenience store, which I presume is a pantry out there, and he had a stab wound, and he got chips and beer. He walked away. The teller called the police, obviously. Police came over there and said, do you need to go to the hospital? And he's, no, I need to go catch more Pokemon. So either one, he is one really dedicated trainer, which would be quite over dedicated, I presume, or, well, I guess there's 3 things. 2, he walked into something while he was playing, so it looked like he was stabbed. Or 3, he was high or on some kind of drugs or something, because obviously with me, I got stabbed playing Pokemon Go, I would go to the hospital. Also, probably wondering why. But then also there was another one where some girl got murdered, I guess. Another one, Midwest, something like that. Someone used poke lure, stabbed, dead, whatever kind of thing like that. A lot of people were showing me those kind of things. Like, dude, like, they're asking how do you play this game if you're worried about that. If you've ever read those things or those things happen, like the one in Forest Grove, great example, it happened at like 2 o'clock in the morning. So, and the murder thing happened in the morning as well. So the key thing is why the hell are you playing it at 2 o'clock in the morning? I understand, like, if you live on a campus, like a college campus, you can kind of get away with it. But, like, if you're out in the streets and you're playing a game at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're going to meet the oddballs of our society, such as druggies and all those kind of people, like people who are going to be robbing people, like not always necessarily going to happen at night. But generally when it happens, it's at night. So for those people who are worried about playing the game because, you're gonna get hurt or something's gonna happen to you, don't play it at fucking 2 o'clock in the morning. If you play it during the day, you can play it all. Like, it's, most people don't do things that are going to affect you, such as rob you, such as, well, kill you, murder you, blah, 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 blah. Normally, I think there's a percentage where it does, but I mean, if you could look at it, most of the time it happens in later hours of the night, or in nighttime rather than daytime. So if you play the daytime, you should be fine, or early in the morning, I guess, because it could be considered night, depending on how early in the morning you are. But it's generally at dark. So if you're playing the game at dark, and it's like dark, it's like past midnight, or like in that realm, be strapped. If you have, obviously we have the gun carry permit thing. There's that. You could also be with a bunch of friends, or, well, the biggest one is you just don't do it at that time. Doesn't matter what's out there. Doesn't matter if someone's using a lure or whatever. You don't have to like go out at 2 o'clock in the morning to catch Pokemon. Like, I'm a big Pokemon fanatic, and it's just like a lot of people are missing common sense, and that's what. So because Pokemon Go is a buzz topic where everybody can talk about it, like the news talked about it. It's that point where like the news, it was the buzz topic of the week. I mean, like, if you really want to learn how to look how it went, the Dallas police shooting, the shooting, a couple of videos and shootings of another African American that died through cop brutality and all that stuff. So, bam, that was on the news, and everybody was talking about that. Bam, 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 bam. All that kind of stuff was just popping up. Buzz topic, right? Everybody want to talk about it. Everybody want to know your opinion on it. Everybody want to know this. Then Pokemon Go comes out, and, you know, no one even cared about it up until it got really, really big. I believe they started talking about the first, second day, because that's when shit started happening. So the only reason why you saw it at all is because it had Pokemon Go on it. So like with the murder, like, not to look light on that, so I'm not going to talk about that one, but with the armed robbery stuff, we would have never, okay, if it happened back east, right? We, Oregonians, West Side, like Western people, would have never heard about it. It's an armed robbery. It happens all the fucking time. We never ever heard about it if it wasn't a buzz topic of the week, which is Pokemon Go. So if they weren't using Pokemon Go at all, so let's say instead of the person playing Pokemon Go, they were on a walk, bam, 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 and they got jumped and they got robbed. You would never heard of it over here, ever, in your lifetime. Unless they died, and then you might have heard about it, because murder is a whole different thing. But it's just a big thing of that would have never made it to the news if it wasn't related to the buzz topic of the week, or buzz topics. So like, you look at trending topics like on Facebook or on Twitter or on Google, I guarantee Pokemon Go's up there. So anything related to Pokemon Go is obviously gonna like poof, blow up for a while. So that's a big one. I guarantee you wouldn't have heard about any of this shit if it happened without the assistance of Pokemon Go. Like the stabbing that happened in Forest Grove, never would have heard. You would have heard, okay, dude got stabbed. Why? He was out at 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, he's a druggie. Like, that would have been the first thing you thought of. Or he was drunk, I guess, could be another. It would have been the first couple things you thought of that and that. But just because he was playing Pokemon Go, or he used Pokemon Go as a, I guess as an escape from whatever the truth may have been. So, like, if he was highly intoxicated and he got in a bar fight and he got stabbed, or he got in a house fight and stabbed, or he just got stabbed because drug deal, or the other guy was just being crazy because he was a druggie, or, you know, stuff like that, would have never made the news, ever, because it would have just been like, it might have made it in the newspaper, or Oregon Live, or whatever. It would have never, ever made it into the news. Like, I saw on Facebook, there was a group that, or a news place that interviewed him because he got stabbed playing Pokemon Go, and he's like, oh, just gotta play Pokemon, right? And never would have happened if it wasn't for Pokemon Go. just think about that before you start yelling at people that they shouldn't play the game or this and that. The game is fantastic. It legitimately makes you walk around because you can't cheat the game and drive around to get Pokemon stuff. It's literally exercising people. It's doing a lot more good than I have seen bad. It's bringing people together that's never talked. People are talking. It's just making people more friendly. Like, it's really weird. Like, you could be talking about the game. You're like, dude, you playing Pokemon Go? And they're like, yeah. So you guys have a little conversation. You maybe even tell where some Pokemon are. Bam. Like, it's making people interact with people. It's granted, a lot of people are talking about the phone whole thing. They're gonna be in the phone the whole time. Stupid people with these smartphones. But to me, it's not anything like that. It's helping people talk. It's like, unless you play the game where there's a lot of people and you start talking to people about it, obviously you're gonna have the turf wars with Team Instinct Valor and Mystic, but whatever. But there's been times where I just, talking to people. It's weird. Especially when I went out to my friend's Gray K-Dog's house out there in Monmouth. We went and just played around the campus of Western area, and it was funny because we could tell who was playing. People came up and asked, like, I dropped a lure, and like, did you drop it? I was like, yeah, and they're like, oh, cool. Like, it was a bunch of, like, interactions that normally wouldn't happen. Like, really, especially for college kids, it would be a great way to, not like an icebreaker, but like kind of an icebreaker type of thing. Like, it'd be really nice. So there's a bunch of nice and good things coming out of it. Can't look at it all the bad ways. Like, people are like, oh, well, people are breaking into places and doing this, and like, that is common sense. Once again, like, that's what I'm trying to get at, is the people who are doing things that are stupid and things are happening to them generally are common sense. So there's been a couple people arrested and all this and that, and they're like, that's why you shouldn't play the game. That's based on common sense. If I'm playing Pokemon Go and I'm walking around, like, a good example is me and a couple of my friends were driving around between two places that we wanted to go, two wetlands to catch some water Pokemon, and halfway between them, there was a Dratini popped up, and if anybody knows Pokemon at all, Dratini is the only Dragon-type Pokemon in Generation 1. So, I was like, shit, we gotta find this thing. So we were driving, and finally when the step indicator got down to about 2 or 1, I figured out generally where it was. Do you want to guess where it was? It was in a farmer's field with all their equipment out there. Now, I'm raised out here in the country, so I understand how to get shot by a farmer, and that is one of them. You do not go out in their field. Trespassing generally isn't a farmer's forte. They don't like people trespassing. You don't trespass. Generally, a rule of thumb, right? You'd think everyone knew that. Obviously, everyone doesn't. Get it? People have broken into places to catch Pokemon. And it's just, you're being stupid. Just completely and utterly stupid, really, because it's common sense. I'm not going to walk in that person's field to catch Pokemon, because if he comes over there, he's not going to understand. He's not going to be, oh, he's probably playing the game. He's not going to be like, that's not going to be his first thought. He's going to be like, oh, he's taking pictures or something, because you don't have to, but you got your phone out, dude. You're taking pictures, you're recording something. Obviously, he's not going to take kindly to that, and a lot of people don't either. So if you live in the city and you're riding the bus or the subway or a TriMet type deal, you can turn off your virtual reality, your AR system on your things, so you just see a screen. I've heard great things about that because it keeps Pokemon in the center of the screen instead of you going like this. Also, it gives you a way, it doesn't make it look like you're trying to take a picture or video of somebody, because you have to but that's just a tip and trick. You live out in the city, so that is a good thing. Yeah, that's generally the big point, is stop being idiots and play with some common sense, because really that's where all this negativity things are coming from, is from a uncommon sense standpoint. That's generally my rant side of this aftermath episode of Pokemon Go, because unless that's probably it. There's nothing much else. It's just, don't be an idiot, guys. Make sure you be respectful and all that stuff of other people's personal space, privacy, and especially their property. Don't do anything to it. If you see Pokemon that you want to catch, like if it's a Dratini or a Pikachu or whatever, and it's in someone's yard, house, whatever, don't do it. Just it will be there again some other time. Just kind of leave it alone. I know it sounds really stupid, like just leave it alone. Like, I understand that people probably watching this like, duh, Johnny, what the fuck are you telling me? It's obviously some people don't know, so just leave people's private property alone. Got it? Got it. Good. Okay, now some tips and tricks for the people who actually stayed me through the whole ranting thing. Some tips and tricks and guides and stuff I've learned. One, you can choose from the starter Pokemon that you weren't able to choose from and the beta, so they gave you Charmander, Bulbasaur, or Squirtle. You can, in fact, actually get a Pikachu. Excuse me. Pikachu's a starter. Where, as soon as the 3 Pokemon pop up, you walk away until they get off your map, and they pop up again. You do that 4 times, and a Pikachu pops up as a 4th poke. You can catch Pokemon starter Pikachu. If you would like, I mean, granted, a lot of people do, because Pikachu's the harder one to get out of them, blah, 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 blah. So, there you can do that. Then, that's a tip and trick. Good way to level up. Go to Pokestops, just catch the same Pokemon, evolve Pokemon, like especially low Pokemon like Weedle and Metapods, or Caterpies to Metapods and Weedles to Kakunas, because those give you experience. Pokestops are usually landmarks to certain places, and you want to visit those frequently. You get Pokeballs, you get items, you get anything you need from that. So, like eggs even, you can get those, and you can get everything. So go to Pokestops. Gyms are good. You weren't able to battle a gym until you are level 5, and at that time you will choose between your 3 colors. You got red, blue, or yellow. Obviously, Team Instinct, Valor, and Mystic. So Instinct is yellow, red is Valor, blue is Mystic. Choose those. You can choose them on whatever color you like, or whatever game you started with, or what most of your friends are doing. Generally, how most of my friends have picked the same team I am, because, they just wanted to be on the same page. That is another tip and trick. So, battles. It's pretty much mashing the screen. It's not necessarily the same Poke Battles we're using to. Like I said, no, 4 movesets, you get 2 moves. One is you just tap the screen, that's the basic attack. That's one of the moves. And the other one is like your special attack, and that is waits on the gauge bar to be filled. It generally on how much damage you do or damage dealt to you. Sometimes will increase it. You swipe left or right to dodge. That can be increased or could be updated a little bit. It's hard to tell when the opposite Pokemon is attacking, so I mean, it's hard to dodge. A lot of people just smash the screen. They don't win. That's pretty much for gym battling. There's not much else. Gym levels is about 2. I think most of the time I see level 2 gym and level 3 gym. And for every level of gym that means there can be a level of trainers. So level 2 gym can have 2 different Pokemon to battle. So you can have like a Venomoth and then Eradicate. And then level 3 would eventually get like a Vaporeon, depending on whoever puts a Pokemon in there. So on and so forth. I think to about level 6, I would say is the max, because you can go into a gym and battle you can battle 1 Pokemon with 6 of yours. Or, you can battle 3 Pokemon with 6 of yours. Or the 2 with 6. Yeah, you get that. You get it. So that's a thing. So you get to battle 6 Pokemon. You do get revives and potions. There's no like Pokemon centers, so you have to use those to revive and heal your Pokemon. You don't have to do gym battles. Like, you don't have to do them at all. So you can just walk around and catch Pokemon all day, hatch eggs, whatever you feel like it. But you don't have to battle. It's just another mechanic in the thing. It's also nice to see you on the top of the list, or the mid of the, wherever you are on the list. It's just nice to know that you're in a gym and you're part of the gym battle, like a gym trainer. So that's always really nice to have. And another thing about gyms is the fact that when you beat them, they usually rule-ish, and from what I found, they get knocked down a peg. So if you're facing level 3 gym, you'll knock it down to level 2. Level 2 goes to level 1. So if you do that, you take the Pokemon off the bottom. So let's say it's level 3 gym, you got your gym leader, you got a middle trainer, and this person. This person's got Eradicate. This person's got a Pidgeotto, and this person's got a Snorlax. You beat all three of them, and then you drop it down to level 2. Now you're only facing against the Pidgeotto and Snorlax. Then you beat it down to level 1. Then you're just facing Snorlax. So you gotta beat it 3 times, which is why they Zoom. You're gonna be walking around with your teammates or friends, such as like team. So that's another thing. Just see teammates. Ooh, see, this game wants you to be with people, wants you to talk to people, wants you to interact with people. You gotta work together to beat some things. So I'd like you to play together. That's another great thing about it. Personally, I think. Let's see. Those are things. Be ready to catch certain Pokemon where they're supposed to be, as that would make sense. Go to the water areas with that have Pokestops. Blah 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 blah. Go to water places that have Pokestops. You'll catch water Pokemon. Go to places like fields and grasses. You'll catch the bug, grass, and da 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 da. So on and so forth. Just get ready to look and work and grind for some evolutions. Most evolutions are in the bases of like 12, 25, 50, and 100. So like that's how many candies it takes. So for every time you get a Pokemon, you get candy. You get 3 candies for every time you catch a Pokemon. Excuse me. 1 for every time you transfer it to the professor. So that is in total 4 candies per Pokemon. You can, if you do indeed hatch a Pokemon, you do get lucky and excuse me. If you hatch a Pokemon, you do get eggs. They're not eggs. You get more candy. So it's not just the 4. You get like I think it's like a random roll of candy. I've seen anywhere's up of 22 to 25 candies for Pokemon hatching. So that's a thing. Excuse me. That happens. So the only exclusion to the whole rule that we've seen so far, I don't even know about Dragontini, Dragonair, and Dragonite, but the biggest exclusion is Magikarp. Magikarp evolves into Gyarados. For those of the people who don't know, Gyarados is a water snake looking thing that is exceptionally strong, but it usually takes Magikarp a long time to get to level 20 to evolve to that in the game, and it literally doesn't learn a move until level 15 in Pokemon games, and that's Tackle, and it literally will no Splash and Tackle. See it. So, in this game, it takes you 400 candies. 400 candies to evolve Magikarp into Gyarados. So, after catching your first one, which would make it 41, give or take, depending if you want to CP it out or whatever, it'll take you about 40 Magikarps to get Gyarados. But there's a lot. Not else much you can do about it. You just gotta try to farm Magikarps. Try to get them innate so you don't have to catch 40 Magikarps. If you have to catch 41 Magikarps, it would be very, very, not boring, atrocious, grindy is a good word for it. Grindy. Yeah, it's pretty much like the basis of that. Now, I talked about CP. CP is combat power in the game. It's generally how strong your Pokemon is. It's kind of like their attack stat. And they do have health. You can see that, obviously, when you click on your Pokemon. You can see the health. And, I mean, like, CPs you can increase by using Stardust. Stardust, you get 100 for every time you catch Pokemon. You get a bunch for leveling up. And you get some, I think, you might be able to get some if you get a Pokestop. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think you can. I haven't. You might be able to. Not 100% sure. So then there's that. Those Stardust help you level up Pokemon. That's pretty much it. Level up the CP is what I mean by level up Pokemon. So level up the CP takes Stardust and a candy. So, and it does go in increments of 200 to 400 to 1,000 to 1,200, like so on and so forth. I think it goes up in increments. I'm not 100% sure exactly what the increments are. But it does go up in increments when you try to make your Pokemon stronger. So it does take a lot of Stardust. So the key is to catch Pokemon over and over again to get candies to evolve them and also get Stardust. It's kind of like a dual thing, but such as I have, I think like near 100 plus Weedle candy. So that kind of thing. So I mean, I've caught a lot of Weedles, so you just trash them. I caught a couple of Beedrills and Kakunas. Those get you Weedle candy. So if you catch any part of the 3 stages of any Pokemon it does give you the lowest form. So if you catch a Venusaur, you get a Bulbasaur candy. So I mean, it's just you. So it's universal. That's just how they're using it. You can't obviously use Bulbasaur candy on a Pidgey. So obviously you need, like I said, catch the same Pokemon. Bam, 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 bam. You so on and so forth until you have Pokemon you're looking for. Let's see, anything else that necessarily need to talk about. Type advantages do work in this game. So when you battle gyms, grass will be water, water will be fire. Look it up. There's charts everywhere for it. For a lot of you new players or old players that are playing again, there are 3 new types. Since you've played, unless you played Gold and Silver, then there's 1. So at Gold and Silver, they introduced Dark and Steel. So those are good. Dark is against Ghost and Psychic type Pokemon. It's weak against Fighting. You know, things like I said. There's Pokemon type charts out there. You can look all this shit up. Steel type was a new one that's good against Rock. Weak against Fire. Then the newest one that came in a gen ago is, or the newest gen up until Sun and Moon comes out, so Gen 6 is Fairy types. Fairy types are good against Fighting, good against Dragons, weak against Poison and Steel. One of the 2 least used types in the game as of right now. So fairies are brand new. Some Pokemon that you knew of are now fairies, most of them being Clefairy and Jigglypuff. I think are the only 2 that turn to fairies. Oddish can learn Moonblast, so that could be a fairy Pokemon you could get, or fairy type you can get. Really do use type advantages to your benefit when you're battling. So if you see 3 Pokemon, and I've seen a couple gyms out here that I've walked through, knocked down to about level 1 and then couldn't do anything else because I just didn't have the right Pokemon, didn't have enough items at the time, is when you're in a gym, so like if you're on the same team, you can add your Pokemon after you level up your gym after training there. If the whole gym is consisted of flying Pokemon, so they're obviously going to use electric Pokemon to get through, put a ground Pokemon in as the top so that electric Pokemon can't just sweep the gym. That's what I'm trying to get at. So try to use type advantages to your advantage while you're defending a gym and while you're attacking. And also while you're playing in the gym, you can't switch Pokemon right then and there. They might get hit by an incoming attack. But so if your first Pokemon you faced was a flying and then the second one's ground, and you're using your electric Pokemon, let's say you're using Pikachu. Obviously electricity's not good against ground, so you're going to have to switch. Well, like Pikachu, a lot of people are just letting that Pokemon die. You can hit there's a up and down arrow. You hit that and you can switch into your Blastoise or your Squirtle or your Roller Turtle or another water or grass Pokemon, so on and so forth. You can switch in, bam, and put them out there, defeat it, beat the thing, heal them up, go back and forth, that kind of thing. So that's a tip. So if you're playing against a gym or even holding a gym, make sure your type differentials are good. Anything particularly, the game is based off of luck with some things, so don't be discouraged if you aren't getting Pokemon like your friend's getting, or your friend's not getting, your friend's getting lucky, or they're getting certain things that you wish you had. Like eventually they are installing trading, so you can trade, you just don't get candy from trading. But it's just one of those things you have to, it's a grindy game. You're going to have to go out there and walk and work and catch things. Some people will get them to come to them naturally. That's just how life is. So that is what it is. I'm thinking that's nothing much else for tips and tricks other than get your level up. You can use a lucky egg, and that increases your experience for 30 minutes. Do that, and you can raise in levels, evolve Pokemon while you're doing that. And so and especially if you're using a lucky egg, if you see a new Pokemon, catch it, because naturally they give you 500 experience for a brand new Pokemon in the Pokedex. So if you can evolve the Pokemon and make it new in the Pokedex, or catch one while you're using the lucky egg, that's 1,000 experience. Catch a bunch of Pokemon, that's 500 experience per catch. No, 100 experience per catch. Unless you get some other qualifiers, then bam, that's 200 and some change, and then so on and so forth. So it's not as, so if you need to get 10,000, you need to do 2. You need to do 5. 200 times 5 is 1,000. Yeah. So 1,000 to 10,000 is 10. So 50. You don't have to catch 50 Pokemon, and if you're in a populated place, you can do all three. Excuse me. You can do all three at the same time. You could do, a lure. You can do your instant, and you can do a lucky egg. Bam, level, look back. You know what I'm saying? It's like Pokemon come to you. You can get levels. You'll catch Pokemon. It's just simple. Like I said, the basis of the game is to catch Pokemon and walk around and talk to people, or friends, whoever you want to talk to. So I hope you guys are definitely enjoying this game as much as I am, even if some of us are luckier than others, such as my friend's girlfriend, who's got all these Pokemon that I want, but I can't get because she's just luckier than I am. A little salty there, but Anyways, hope you guys are enjoying this game, like I said, as much as I am. And be smart, be safe, don't do anything stupid, don't do anything that your parents wouldn't have done, which might not necessarily be the greatest example. But don't do anything stupid. Don't break into places. But I hope to see the rest of you guys, whoever has it, out there playing. So I hope to see you trainers later. And until next time, guys, this has been Johnny D on the screen, and I'll see you later.